What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So lately it seems like all lawmakers have a different idea of what should be in the next stimulus package. Should we get more stimulus or less stimulus, more infrastructure? That's the big debate. Well, what we know right now is some lawmakers are pushing for larger stimulus checks, but here's the kicker: nobody has proposed a bill for a stimulus check. Nobody. But they come out and say we need to give the American people a bigger stimulus check, a $2,000 stimulus check, a monthly stimulus check, but yet they won't put their name on a bill. They won't even propose something. And so I've been trying to figure out, why is this? Well, according to reports today, the reason why is because lawmakers can tweet everything they want. They can go on interviews and do podcasts and put up different videos on YouTube and do all this stuff and say they want all these different things. President Biden did this. He said he wanted to provide the American people with $200 per month that are on Social Security. Well, it never happened. He also said he wanted to provide up to $10,000 in student loan forgiveness. Well, that still has not happened. So they can propose, they can say everything they want, but until they actually put a bill on the floor, that's where things start to change. Well, here's what we know. The one thing that will be guaranteed in this next bill is the child tax credit payments. I know a lot of you guys are very upset that I even bring this up, but this is the one thing they're kind of crafting a bill around: child tax credit payments, the expansion of Medicare. Those are two of the main things. And then how are they going to pay for it? Well, they're going to tax the rich and large corporations. So it's those two pillars and then the tax proposal. And then they're going to expand from there. Well, I bring this up because today, Representative Pramila Jayapal, she had this to say on Twitter. She says, the $250 to $300 per month child tax credit that we established with the American Rescue Plan lifted 3 million children out of poverty in July alone. That is great. That is great. I think that is awesome. She also says, let's make this program permanent and continue delivering for families. And that's true. That's helping out families. Just families. That's all it's helping. But what about the individuals? What about those without a family? What about those that are elderly? There's nothing. There is nothing. Okay? And I bring this up because I was reading an article just a short while ago, and while many people are trying to get out of the South, to get out of Hurricane Ida's way, of its path, many are saying, and they're on interviews, they're on CNN, on Fox, and there's articles where many are saying they can't leave. They cannot afford to leave because they don't have any money in their bank. They don't have a car. Public transportation has been suspended. They do not have any way to leave, so they're going to hunker down and hope they survive. That is insane. When people that do not have a family, that aren't getting a $250 or $300 child tax credit, cannot afford to leave an unsafe place simply because they do not have the money. That's crazy. But this brings up something else. This is one of the only forms of stimulus that will be passed as of right now. No stimulus check. Again, it's not in there. No student loan forgiveness. It's not included. Okay? There's no additional rental assistance. There's no mortgage assistance or mortgage forbearance. That's not included in this next stimulus package or this $3.5 trillion infrastructure bill. However, all these things could be included later on. But as of right now, they're not. Many Republicans and all Democrats, they like what the child tax credit payment is doing. According to reports, this could actually pull families out of poverty and help them get off of other government programs. And it could. But again, this is a child tax credit payment. This is a tax credit. This is not income. This is not counted as income. And that's where things ultimately change. So what we could see, and again, I just want to kind of warn you guys on this, but according to experts, what we could see moving forward is, yes, the child tax credit payment gets extended for possibly 4 more years. But the difference is, instead of a tax credit, we could see a change where this actually counts as some form of income. Okay? Even though it's a tax credit, they could adjust this, because if we're giving many people more money, millions of people, giving them more money, does it make sense that they also can collect on nutrition assistance, on SNAP benefits? Can they do that? Is that acceptable? To some, they say no, it's not. Can they get affordable housing? Some say it's acceptable for some that are very low income, but should they be adjusting the thresholds on the other benefit programs in order to account for the child tax credit payments? Some say yes. So again, I just want to warn you, there could be changes coming over the next couple of months. But just understand, the child tax credit payment is the one piece of stimulus that is currently in this bill. Okay? Now, while the pandemic is still going on, many lawmakers right now, they say we need more. We need more, not less. Even Representative Ro Khanna from California, he said this, and I quote, "The pandemic is still going on. The economy is still recovering. We simply cannot let millions of people be kicked out of their homes. Congress must act now." Well, let this sink in. Congress is on recess. They're not going to act now. They're on vacation. They're relaxing. They're working with their constituents. They are not in Washington. They cannot do a single thing unless Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House, decide to call back the House and Senate. And it doesn't seem like they're going to do that. So even though he's saying Congress must act now, Congress will act in 2 to 3 weeks. And that's when things will begin. What I can tell you is that one report indicates that the Biden administration is looking into ways to provide additional assistance and to provide help to those that are currently on the verge of eviction. Right now, it's not going to be through an eviction moratorium. That's something that they cannot do. They're looking for possible options though. But reports indicate that they are very limited as to how they can do this at this time. One problem right now is that many people don't even qualify for the rental assistance programs. And it's very unclear who really qualifies and who doesn't, who's going to be the first group of recipients to get this funding. It's very unclear. And so even though there's millions of people waiting, I think there's like 6.5 million people that are waiting on rental assistance, the problem right now is nobody knows, do they actually qualify or not? It hasn't been so clear cut. And there's some that are actually changing the rules to try to get more people to get accepted into these programs. But again, I don't know when this is going to happen. I just don't. So all I can tell you right now is that we have to wait and see what the Biden administration does, what Congress decides to do, what the Treasury decides to do with, and how they are going to allocate that money. It's not looking great. But what I can tell you is more people are waiting on this assistance. But here's something that I want to bring up. And this has something to do with kind of employment. Right now, according to reports, the infrastructure plan could bring up about 800,000 new jobs by 2030. So in the next about 8 years. But experts believe that the jobs we have now won't even be filled. And so these new 800,000 jobs are either going to make more of a headache for employers because they're going to have to compete with a higher wage job, which means they either have to increase their wages or they're just going to lose their workers. There's also a lot of people right now that are simply wanting to change their job and their career path. And let me ask you this. Are you one of those people? I remember years ago, I wanted to change my career path and I did. I changed it. I flipped everything upside down and I am grateful that I did. But let me ask you, are you one of those people? About 25% of Americans are considering leaving their job right now to go and find something else. Curious, are you one of those people? And what do you do currently, or what are you looking for? I'm just curious. I love reading you guys' comments. I thought that would be something I would absolutely love to hear, what you guys are doing now and what you guys want to do in the future. And many employees right now, they're demanding to work from home. As somebody that works from home, I am self-employed. Okay, somebody that pretty much works for themselves. I absolutely love it. And I think everybody should do something remotely. It's a great opportunity. It gives you a chance to work for yourself, reflect, be really a self-starter. So I think it's a great thing, but I know many people right now are wanting to do that, but their employer is not opting for that at this time. So one thing I can tell you right now though, and this is something that we are seeing, and this is something that we've been seeing over the past couple of weeks, is that right now, President Biden is kind of holding the Senate and the House. Okay, the two different houses, but he's trying to hold the Democratic Party together. The problem right now is in the past few months, he did a very good job keeping the two united and passing legislation. And this goes all the way back from January, right? But here's what I can tell you. Right now, many lawmakers worry that the decisions that President Biden and the Biden administration have made over the Afghanistan situation are more harmful to the party than anything. And some worry that the decisions that he's making right now are actually going to negatively impact them for the midterm elections. I bring this up because we heard over the past few weeks that the Democrats were worried about the midterm elections. They were worried if we don't get this legislation passed, the $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill, which is a bipartisan bill, and the $3.5 trillion bill, if we don't get these passed, then it could really hurt our chances of being reelected for our positions. Well, just over the past couple of days, many are now worried that not only do they have to fix the Afghanistan situation, they have to go above and beyond to make sure that the American people know that the Democratic Party is there for them. That's the People's Party. Well, at this time, that's not the way the American people feel. And let me just ask you this. If you are pro-Democrat, if you like what the Democratic priorities are, if you thought, President Biden, he was going to be a great president. And again, it's still early on. We don't know. Things could change. As of right now, some are saying he's not doing great. But let me ask you this. What do you think of the Democratic Party? Do you think they're doing great? Do you think the Republican Party could have done better? Let me know your answers down in the comment section below. Also, and this is something that I addressed just a little bit ago, but I want to bring this up again. As Hurricane Ida is making landfall, again, as of recording this video, I think it just started making landfall like minutes ago. But thousands of people are stuck in their homes. And according to news outlets, many people cannot leave because they cannot afford to leave. They cannot go and drive somewhere because they can't put gas in their car. Public transportation is suspended. They can't afford to go drive up to a different state, get out of harm's way, and rent a hotel room because, well, they can't afford gas. They can't afford a hotel room. They can't afford to eat because all their food, they had to leave it behind, right? So what do? Well, most people are just going to hunker down and hope they can survive. That's the quote that I kept seeing today. I hope I will survive. And that is just embarrassing for the U.S. That's just embarrassing for our government, that there's people that cannot get out of harm's way because they can't afford it. To me, I don't know how I'd feel. I don't live in the South. I live up in Washington State. The main thing we get is fires, which again, fires, okay, very deadly. But at the same time, hopefully we can get out, right? We don't have to worry about tornadoes or hurricanes or tsunamis or anything like that. We don't have to deal with many earthquakes like down in California or other places, but we have fires. And so again, it's for me, I always like to make sure I have enough, in savings that I could, if we had to, we could leave and we wouldn't have to worry about anything we had at our homes. We had the ability to leave. And the problem is many people don't. And during a pandemic, if you do not have the ability to just survive, you cannot even put food on your table. And then you got to deal with a hurricane, which some are saying that this could be worse than Hurricane Katrina, which was 16 years ago to the day. That's not great. It's troubling news. Also today, we heard from Dr. Anthony Fauci. He said that vaccination mandates for school children, that is a good idea. He says, and I quote, "I believe that mandating vaccines for children to appear in school is a good idea. We've done this for decades and decades, requiring polios, measles, mumps, rubella, hepatitis, so this would not be something new requiring vaccinations for children to come to school," which it isn't. But to do it right now when it's so contentious at this time, that's not a good idea, at least according to many experts. Some believe that eventually the vaccine mandate will be here, but again, right now, it's just too contentious right now for the Biden administration to come out and push for it. And some are saying that at least not until after the midterm elections. Do you know how many times I've mentioned the midterm elections just in this video? Midterm elections are being brought up because of unemployment. Midterm elections are being brought up because of the eviction extension and moratoriums. The midterm elections are being brought up because of the vaccine mandate for schools. It shouldn't be like this. Honestly, it shouldn't be like this. And it's embarrassing that we have to deal with this every single time because two parties are fighting about midterm elections, not about life, midterm elections. Dr. Anthony Fauci also says the U.S. is still planning on having the booster shots after 8 months. However, the Biden administration is pushing for just 5 months because they say this would improve the efficacy rate from months 5 to 8, which is true. But again, the experts are telling us that until they receive all the collected data, they're still gonna wait and debate on how long they will wait. So what I can tell you right now is as we get more information, I promise I will fill you in on all the latest news and updates. Again, just want to thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Hopefully you guys are watching this and you are safe. You're not worried about fires, earthquakes, or a hurricane. Again, just want to thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you have a wonderful rest of your day. Consider subscribing and I'll see you guys on the next one.